What is up, Mizzou fans? Welcome back to another video on my channel. My name is Josh Fann of ShowMeFootball.com, covering your Missouri Tigers. And next up, we're going to be previewing homecoming versus UMass. All that coming right after this. Ladies and gentlemen, Missouri Tigers fans, welcome back into another video here on Show Me Football. Before we get into the preview, I want to kindly ask everyone to please like, share, and subscribe so more Mizzou fans can find this video. Go ahead and hit that notification bell as well. It really helps me out. But without further ado, let's get into this preview versus UMass. So I decided just to go solo for this one and make this shorter. And instead of a full-blown preview, I'm just going to hit on 4 key points that I want to see out of the Missouri Tigers in this game. Because let's be real, guys, we shouldn't have to preview UMass. I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah, here's, UMass's numbers, and I expect Mizzou to do this, this, and this. Guys, if this is anything other than a complete blowout, then something went very, very wrong. And that's no disrespect to UMass. I mean, I love the state of Massachusetts. I'm a huge Boston sports fan. I love the Celtics. I love the Red Sox. I know that's going to piss a lot of people off, but hey, look, I have a lot of respect for the state of Massachusetts. I respect UMass. Hey, they hosted us last year. That was very nice of them in their 17,000 seat stadium. But yeah, guys, there's just no need for a preview. Missouri's going to win this game. They're favored by a gazillion points. There's just no reason to really do a deep dive into things. So what I'm going to do instead is just tell you what I want to see out of the Missouri Tigers in this game. Granted, there's not a whole lot that we're going to be able to learn from this game other than the fact that Mizzou is good enough to beat UMass, which that should be the bare minimum expectation. But here's the first thing that I wrote down on my notes for what I want to see out of this game. I want to see this game be an Ahmad Hardy stat padding game for the Heisman campaign. And I know what some people are going to say, we don't need anyone getting hurt in this game, especially not Ahmad Hardy. We're going to need him for the rest of conference play. And I totally agree. But look, man, Ahmad Hardy with another couple really big games is going to thrust himself into the Heisman conversation. And if you're a Mizzou fan, how could you not want a Mizzou player to potentially win the Heisman Trophy this year? Missouri has never produced a Heisman winner. And I think Ahmad Hardy has a real shot at the thing this year, especially with John Mateer being out for several weeks now with a hand injury. That was announced earlier this week. The Oklahoma quarterback, he got injured against Auburn, had to end up getting surgery on his hand, and he was the Heisman leader. That kind of clears way for someone like Ahmad Hardy to throw his hat in the ring. And I would love to see this just be a stat pad game for Ahmad Hardy. And when I say that, it doesn't mean I think he should play the whole game or anything like that. I think he could easily get 150 yards in the first half versus UMass. He could get 10 carries, and I bet you he could get 150 yards and multiple touchdowns, and that will help him continue to build this Heisman campaign. Because when you're going for the Heisman, you always need those really big performances versus the weak teams. We saw it against Louisiana, and mind you guys, UMass is significantly worse than Louisiana. They lost to Bryant earlier this year. The UMass Minutemen have not won more than 4 games for about a decade now. They are pitiful. And I want to see what Ahmad Hardy looks like against their defense. Again, no disrespect to UMass, but there's a talent disparity there. And I just would love to see Ahmad Hardy just continue to stack his resume with good performances. And I think he can do it in this one. And I think if you're a Mizzou fan, you should want to see that. You should want to see your guys play good football. And I understand the whole injuries concern and everything like that, but man, it's football. You have to go out there and play. And I think if Ahmad Hardy goes out there and gets 10 carries, that's not asking too much. And I think he can make the most of those carries. So Ahmad Hardy Heisman campaign, let's get it going. And then the second thing I wrote down, what I want to see in this game, Javen Richardson obviously stepped in for starting left tackle Caden Green last week versus South Carolina, did an admirable job filling in. But we have to admit he did get a lot of help from the tight ends in that game, and the Tigers ran the ball a lot. So it kind of masked some of the shortcomings in pass protection that might have popped up with Javen Richardson. So in this game, I would love to see Javen Richardson on an island and what he can do and experience blocking one-on-one. He needs that in this game. That doesn't mean we should necessarily take anything away from his performance if he does well, because it's UMass. He's going to go up against some better competition later this year. Alabama up next after UMass. But Javen Richardson needs those reps going one-on-one against the other team's best pass rusher. So I want to see how he does on an island. And I don't want Mizzou giving him any chip help or anything like that, not unless it's clear that he's getting beat. And then we have another problem on our hands. But hopefully he's not getting beat by the UMass defensive line. So I guess if you had to chip in that case, because you don't need Bo getting hurt. So yeah, regardless, I want to see what Javen Richardson can do on his own without tight end help, with Mizzou throwing the football. And then the third thing I put down, and I'm sure a lot of you are probably surprised that I didn't put this as the number one thing. I'm not really doing this in any particular order, but I'm sure you all have been waiting for it. The pass defense. Drinkwitz was livid after the South Carolina game with the amount of deep shots that Mizzou gave up in that game. And Drinkwitz talked about how Missouri is kind of dominating the box score in these games, but they're not dominating on the scoreboard. And the reason is because they're giving up way too many explosive plays on defense. Drinkwitz said he's going to get on some secondary coaches' rear ends after that South Carolina game. And I believe him. I think he's going to hold these guys accountable. And I think Drinkwitz is probably in those meeting rooms now saying, what do we have to do? Like, I'm not trying to overstep my boundaries here, but what do we have to do to get this secondary shored up? Because we know, at least in my opinion, it's not a talent issue for Missouri. It's not. They have dogs in that secondary. They have athletes in that secondary. Jalen Catalon was an All-American last year. Dalen Carnell is a veteran in the secondary. Marvin Burks, he might struggle in coverage a little bit, but he's a big hitter at the safety position. Drayden Norwood's been here for a long time, has been locked down for most of his time here. Like, there's talent in this secondary. I think a lot of this is communication errors on the Mizzou secondary and a coaching issue. Coaches not making assignments simple enough. You saw at a point in that South Carolina game, you had two Missouri defenders, I believe it was Jalen Catalon and Stephen Hall, basically threw up their hands and said, who had that guy? Did you have him? Did I have him? And when that stuff is happening, I think that's a coaching issue more than anything. I think that's the coaches not making assignments clear on some of these coverages. I expect that to get better this week. If there's one thing that you can say about Drinkwitz teams, especially this year and the past couple of years, it's that when they make a mistake, they typically don't make the same mistake twice. They usually clean these things up. I expect it to get cleaned up against UMass. Again, you're not going to be able to tell too much. Alabama's going to be the next true test for the secondary, but obviously you want to see Mizzou limiting explosive plays in the pass game. And then the last thing that I wrote down, one last major note for this game, is I want to see Matt Zollers get in there in the second half and get a chance to run this offense with the fully open playbook. We've seen him come in a couple times. He threw a couple passes against Central Arkansas, but then he came in against Louisiana, and all Mizzou did was run the ball and hand it off to Marquise Davis a bunch of times. And Marquise Davis is great. I'm sure we'll see some of him. I'm going to continue to see him build good performances in his freshman season. But I think it's valuable that you get Matt Zollers some passing attempts in this game, even though, one more time, I'll say it, it is UMass, but Matt Zollers is the future of this program at the quarterback position. Drinkwitz has already come out and said that. He's made that very clear. They have a lot of confidence in Matt Zollers. And I think one unfortunate thing that you saw with Sam Horn, who was a highly rated recruit, same as Matt Zollers, is he came in here and he didn't get any significant playing time until, well, he was supposed to this year. And then, of course, he unfortunately got hurt in the first game, but he was in the quarterback competition with Bo Pribula. And I don't know, I didn't think it was ever really a competition, but that's a completely separate point. But Sam Horn, the reason there were so many questions going into the season about the quarterback position was because we didn't get to see Sam Horn ever in his college career, really. And if we saw Sam Horn earlier on in his career get some actual run in some of these games against the blood donor schools, then maybe Mizzou doesn't go out in the portal and get Bo Prabula. Maybe there is no quarterback competition, or you figure out that Sam Horn isn't that good and then you fully move on. But we just never got to find out, and we'll never get to find out. And Sam Horn's career is a major what if, honestly. That could be a whole deep dive. But my point that I'm making here is we made a mistake with the development of Sam Horn by not getting him more game reps as an underclassman. I want to see what Matt Zollers can do. And that's my take on it. But those are the main points that I wrote down. I do expect Mizzou to cover in this game. You have to. UMass is terrible. I'm expecting at least 50, 60 points on them, even with the secondary guys in there, the second team units on offense and defense, because UMass just is not good at all. And it's homecoming. You want to put on a good performance for the crowd. This game's going to be at home. It's going to be at night. So, yeah, that's what I expect. UMass is not good. Missouri, we think, is very good. You should be 5-0 heading into Bama, and that's when things start to get serious, and we're going to see what the ceiling really is for this team. But, yeah, guys, those are my thoughts on Mizzou versus UMass, expectations for the game. Let me know down in the comments below what your guys' thoughts are on this game, what you want to see out of Mizzou in this game. If there's anything that I missed that you think I should have hit on, definitely let me know in the comments. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe so more Mizzou fans can find this. You can check out my work on showmefootball.com. Follow the Twitter at showmefb. And before we go, make sure you guys check out W Energy. They're going to be partnered with me, all football season long. You go down in the description below, hit that link, use the promo code SHOWMEFB. You get an additional 10% off your order. Great stuff. They use coffee fruit extract. That's the main ingredient. Great alternative to caffeinated energy drinks. Will give you the boost of energy you need to complete those daily tasks. So definitely check W out. That's all I got for this one, guys. So all that being said, I will see you all in the next one. And as always, MIZ.